Ignore Pain was nerfed. That's it. Prot warriors are dead. Reroll. Delete your prot warrior. Alright, let's talk about some hard facts and evidence today on how to be able to play your prot warrior after this nerf. So first let's go over what was nerfed. Now the nerf nerfed our Ignore Pain by 33%. Now this is a very significant amount. Something else that happened during this hotfix is they did hotfix the Ultimatum and Vengeance weaving. It didn't get nerfed as hard as it should have, and it was just fixed. So Ultimatum and Vengeance got nerfed to where they should have been prior. Our Ignore Pain got nerfed, but our Shield Slam Rage generation did go up. Now there's still a lot of conversation, a lot of discussion, a lot of people running simulations to see what's best, but what is very clear is that Ultimatum and Vengeance weaving is not as strong as it was before the nerf or even before this latest hotfix. Ultimatum and Vengeance have kind of died down. Now, I do think that Ultimatum and Vengeance weaving is still going to edge out anything else. However, it is no longer as good as it used to be, which means that you can play your tank a little bit simpler unless you're in that top 1% pushing brand new content. One thing that has remained true throughout this whole expansion and hasn't been nerfed for prot warriors is shield block. What that means for us is we can always have 30 to 60% active mitigation depending on our mastery at all times. Now I do think that the way to play a prot warrior, playing it with weaving and Ignore Pain, is absolutely the most upper echelon. However, it's going to be a lot simpler to run mythics and heroics, LFR and regular raids without doing that. Now what this means to us is that we have to have a base haste cap. Now if we keep anywhere from 25 to 30% haste, our uptime on shield block should be as close to 100% as possible. Since we are going to be focusing on shield block now, I also very highly suggest mastery be your secondary stat. So I do think that the priority now should be haste to 25 to 30% and then mastery after that to try to get as much critical block as possible. A regular block is 30%, a critical block is 60%. The only bad part about all of this strategy is that magic damage is not mitigated through this. So you do still have to resort to Ignore Pain if you're doing big magic pulls. However, since we do have a lot of haste, our Ignore Pain should be able to stack really well if we're taking all of that magic damage as well. Now in terms of rotation and what you should be doing to generate the most amount of rage, if you're single target, you should prioritize Shield Slam, then Devastate to try to fish for more Shield Slam. If it procs a Shield Slam proc, you will use that again. And if the cooldown on Shield Slam is less than 1 global cooldown, then you'll use Revenge, since that does gain a little bit of rage. However, Revenge is not used for single target unless Shield Slam has a cooldown of less than 1 global cooldown. If you are doing multi-target, then Revenge and Thunderclap do come into play. However, we're going to focus a little bit more on single target for now. Along with these changes comes the fact that the talent points should be different. So now the talent point for level 100, I believe Heavy Repercussions is going to have a much heavier weight. If you do want to go this blocking route, Heavy Repercussions gives you a little bit more of a cushion to play with when you're talking about shield block and uptime with all of the haste cap that you need to get. Heavy Repercussions helps you out a lot. It is a little bit RNG based if you're trying to fish for Devastate procs and you're a little bit rage starved, but Heavy Repercussions I believe is a lot better. You could also make a case for Anger Management just because that cooldown is very good as well. But I don't think Ravager is as good as it was before, just because we do want to focus on shield block now, and anything that helps that is going to be amazing. Now what this means for the level 45 talent point is that really you can go ahead and grab any one of these. If you still want to do Ultimatum and Vengeance weaving, that's perfectly fine, and you can go ahead and do that. It's just going to be a lot more strain and a lot more watching weak auras and a lot more watching procs for you. But I do suggest for level 90 either getting into the fray or Booming Voice. Into the Fray will help you get to that haste cap if you don't already have it via gear, and Booming Voice is just going to be a really nice cooldown to use to generate a ton of rage. If you're a little bit rage starved, if you need to pop another Ignore Pain, if you need to throw up your shield block again, whatever that needs to be done, Booming Voice is going to become that cooldown that gives you a really nice amount of rage. For level 45, I would even suggest Avatar at this point, just because it's going to boost your damage a little bit, it's going to help you push Mythic and Mythic Plus, and it's also going to get you out of snares, which we do see a lot of boss mechanics do have snares. Renew Fury was fine when we were Ignore Pain spamming, but Avatar is more deliberate as to where you want to use that extra damage. Again, if you still believe in Ultimatum and Vengeance Weaving, it will probably edge out in simulations. It does seem like a lot of trouble to go through for a very minimal increase at this point after these big nerfs. Again, what we should be aiming for now is having a 100% uptime on shield block. Now, our Spell Reflect is also very short cooldown and it'll help us mitigate a lot of incoming magic damage. So I do think we need to be a little more aware of Spell Reflect, but it does seem like Ignore Pain is just going to be our rage dump. So again, priorities to use at all times is shield block as close to 100% as you can, Spell Reflect whenever you're taking heavy magic damage, and Ignore Pain has become our rage dump. Now I am involved in the Discord for Protection Warriors. I'm also keeping an eye out on the MMO Champion forums. So as more information comes out, I will release it. I'll either annotate this video or make a new one. However, for now, there aren't very many clear simulations, just very general guidelines. And since Ignore Pain, Ultimatum, and Vengeance seem to be very controversial right now, I would suggest being haste and mastery focused to just do shield blocks at this point. Shield block is 30 to 60% mitigation. If you get that mastery to 50%, you're talking an average of 45% damage mitigated incoming to you. I know it doesn't count magic damage, however, that is still a very good percentage. So let me know what you guys think down below. I know these nerfs are hitting all of us really hard, but I do think that Prot Warriors are still in a very good place. We have a tremendous kit. And remember, hold on to all your gear in case any other simulations come out. We can go ahead and swap out our gear.